What truly infuriates me, Commander Verilm thought as Admiral Khazid's mandibles clicked in irritation, is humanity's utter refusal to lose with dignity. Verilm's eye stalk swiveled toward his superior. With respect, sir, they've been defeated in 7 consecutive engagements. Their orbital defenses are shattered. Their military infrastructure lies in ruins. What more do you expect? Khazid's carapace flushed a deep violet, his frustration palpable as he gestured at the holographic display projecting Earth's latest transmission. I expect them to stop broadcasting nonsense like this. The message, transmitted across all frequencies and translated into galactic standard, lingered in the air. Cease your attacks, or we cease pretending to be civilized. What does that even mean? Khazid chittered. A threat, a jest, some obscure cultural quirk. He waved a claw dismissively. We've subjugated 18 species across 12 systems, and none have responded to defeat with whatever this is. Perhaps it's desperation, Verilm offered. Their global communication networks are partially operational. This could be a rogue faction trying to save face. Khazid's antennae flicked in disdain. Our intelligence confirms this came directly from their United Earth Defense Council, an official coordinated response. Should we reply? Verilm asked cautiously. Absolutely not, Khazid snapped. Proceed as planned. Deploy the 9th wave to eradicate their remaining surface defenses. I want troops on the ground within 36 hours. Yes, Admiral. In the ruins of the UEDC headquarters in Geneva, General Elena Blackwood surveyed the devastation left by the Krava J bombardment. The complex was reduced to rubble, but the emergency bunker remained intact, and that was enough. Status report, she demanded, eyes fixed on the tactical display. Colonel Dmitry Volkov's voice was calm despite the grim circumstances. The message was transmitted successfully across all available channels, General. Our quantum entanglement communicators confirm it reached at least 73% of their fleet. Good, Blackwood said with a curt nod. Their response? None yet. They've continued orbital strikes on military targets in Asia and North America. So they've chosen option B, Blackwood said, a grim smile flickering across her face. Excellent. Volkov shifted uneasily. With respect, General, I still believe a more conventional approach, perhaps a peace offer, might have. We tried peace 3 weeks ago, Blackwood cut in. We offered surrender terms 2 weeks ago. We launched counterattacks last week. None of it worked. These insects don't understand our mindset, and we've been playing by their rules for too long. But Protocol Omega, Volkov hesitated. It's our final option. Blackwood gestured to the security feeds showing the devastation outside. In case you hadn't noticed, Colonel, we're in final option territory. The civilian casualties. There won't be any civilians left if we don't act, Blackwood said sharply. The Kravage don't differentiate between military and civilian targets. Once they establish ground control, we've seen what happens to conquered worlds. But Project Lazarus, it violates everything It violates the facade we've maintained, Blackwood corrected. For centuries, humanity has played the role of good galactic citizens, adhering to the rules of war. And where has it gotten us? On the edge of extinction. She tapped her command pad, pulling up a new display. Do you know why we named it Project Lazarus, Colonel? Volkov swallowed hard. Because it brings back the dead. Blackwood's laugh was hollow. No, because it resurrects what we buried, what we tried to erase from ourselves. Her eyes hardened. Initiate Protocol Omega. Authorization Blackwood Tango, Sierra 9-1. Yes, General, Volkov said quietly. He moved to the central console and began the activation sequence. Blackwood turned back to the tactical display, watching new data stream in. Time to show the galaxy who we really are. Fleet Commander Dizarok was reviewing bombardment reports when an urgent alert interrupted him. "Commander," his sensor officer called, voice shrill with alarm. "We're detecting anomalous energy signatures from the planet's surface." "What kind?" Dizarok demanded, striding to the sensor station. "Unknown, sir. They don't match any known weapons profiles. They're emanating from everywhere." "Everywhere." Dizarok's mandibles clicked nervously. "That's impossible." "No, sir. Literally everywhere. Every continent, every ocean, even the polar regions." "Display it," Dizarok ordered. The holographic projection of Earth materialized, then lit up with millions of tiny, pulsing lights, forming a web-like pattern across the globe. "What in the seven moons?" Dizarok muttered. "Sir," his communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from the surface." On screen. The image shifted to a human female in a black, unmarked uniform, adorned only with a stylized phoenix emblem. "This is General Elena Blackwood of Earth's Lazarus Protocol," she said, her voice eerily calm. "We warned you." "Warned us," Dizarok couldn't help responding. "Your message was incoherent drivel." Blackwood's lips curved into a cold smile. "Then let me clarify. For 3 centuries, humanity has restrained itself, adhering to galactic norms, pretending to be civilized. That ends today." "Your threats are empty," Dizarok scoffed. "Your defenses are destroyed, your defeat inevitable." "You're right about one thing," Blackwood replied. "The military you've seen is crippled." A new data feed appeared beside her, technical specifications and deployment statistics that baffled Dizarok. "Humanity's history is complex. We spent millennia warring among ourselves before uniting. When we did, we chose to bury our most dangerous technologies to become civilized by your standards. The United Earth Defense Council was created to manage our military ethically." Dizarok clicked impatiently. "And we created Protocol Omega as a failsafe," Blackwood continued. "A hidden network of weapons platforms, research facilities, and personnel dedicated to preserving the technologies we claimed to abandon. Technologies even our own people don't know exist." "Sir," the sensor officer shouted, "the energy readings are intensifying. They're interfacing with our systems." "That's impossible," Dizarok snapped. "Our security protocols are—" "Based on technology we shared with the galaxy," Blackwood interrupted. "Technology we deliberately left outdated because we knew this day might come." Across the command deck, consoles flickered and failed. The ship's lights dimmed, then stabilized at half power. "What have you done?" Dizarok demanded, fear creeping into his voice. "We've activated a subspace resonance field that targets your neural networks, biological and synthetic," Blackwood explained casually. "It's disrupting your systems now, but with a tweak, it could target your nervous systems instead." "That's barbaric." "No," Blackwood corrected. "It's pragmatic. You left us no choice." Before Dizarok could respond, his tactical officer shouted, "Sir, we're detecting mass teleportation signatures across the fleet. Something's boarding our ships." Lieutenant Marcus Davies materialized in a corridor aboard a Cravage destroyer, his Lazarus Protocol combat armor humming as it synced with his neural interface. The suit, a fusion of advanced exoskeleton, neural enhancements, and integrated weaponry, was deemed too aggressive by galactic standards. But the real violation was the teleportation system, abandoned by most civilizations after the Telosian incident, where a miscalculation eradicated an entire species. Humanity had officially followed suit, while secretly perfecting the technology under Protocol Omega. "Lazarus Team Alpha in position," Davies sub-vocalized, the neural link transmitting to the command network. "No contact yet." "Copy, Alpha," came the response in his mind. "Beta through Echo teams report successful insertion. Primary objectives: secure engine rooms, command bridges, weapons control. Secondary objective: gather intel. Lethal force authorized, but prisoners preferred when feasible. Understood. Alpha, moving out. Davies signaled his 5-person team, their armor's adaptive camouflage blending with the organic metallic walls of the Kravage ship. Helmet displays highlighted optimal routes and potential threats, fed by millions of nanodrones released upon arrival. Contact 30 meters ahead, Lieutenant Jang, his second-in-command, reported. 4 hostiles, standard security configuration. Davies nodded. Non-lethal takedown. We need intel. The team split into a practiced formation. Davies and Yang approached from the front as a distraction, while the others flanked through adjacent corridors. As they rounded the corner, Davies grinned at the lead Kravage guard's mandible-dropping shock. "Hello there," Davies said, the suit's translator converting his words to Kravage chittering. "Nice ship. Mind if we borrow it?" The guards raised their weapons, but targeted EMPs from Jang's armor disabled them instantly. The flanking team struck with precision stun batons, another abandoned technology humanity had refined. Within seconds, all 4 guards were unconscious. "Bind them for interrogation," Davies ordered. "Jang, with me. Let's secure the engine room." As they moved through the ship, neutralizing resistance with ease, Davies reflected on the irony. 3 weeks ago, he'd been a xenolinguistics professor at Oxford, unaware of Protocol Omega's existence. Then the Kravage attacked, and an activation code hidden in his old military discharge papers changed everything. Every Lazarus operative led a cover life: teachers, engineers, doctors, artists, all with military backgrounds and covert training during sabbaticals. It was a generations-long deception, a hidden army equipped with humanity's deadliest technologies, waiting for the day the galaxy's rules failed them. That day had arrived. Admiral Kazid stared at the incoming reports with growing horror. Nearly 40% of the invasion fleet had gone silent in the past hour. Surviving ships reported human boarding parties using impossible technology, teleportation, adaptive armor, weapons tailored to Kravage physiology with terrifying precision. How, he demanded, how could they conceal this capability? Commander Verilm, coordinating a faltering defense, turned all 4 eye stalks toward him. "Sir, I've analyzed the data. The humans have been deceiving us, deceiving everyone." "Explain." "When humanity joined the galactic community, they presented themselves as a young, developing species. They adopted our technologies, followed our protocols. But what we're seeing now, they were far more advanced than they let on." "Lying through their teeth," Kazid finished. "Yes, sir. Not just technologically advanced, but tactically sophisticated. Their boarding parties operate with strategies we've never encountered." "Why the deception?" Before Verilm could answer, the command deck doors hissed open. 5 humans in black armor entered, weapons trained on them. "Hello, Admiral," the leader said, his helmet retracting to reveal a dark-skinned man with a close-cropped beard. "I'm Lieutenant Marcus Davies. I'll be handling your surrender today." "Surrender?" Kazid's mandibles clicked in a humorless laugh. "You've caught us off guard, human, but this fleet could still reduce your planet to ash." "Could have," Davies corrected. "We've taken control of your weapon systems across the fleet. And just to be clear, we're not here to negotiate." With a gesture, Davies activated the central holographic display, showing hundreds of Kravage ships, over half now marked in blue, under human control. "How?" Kazid demanded. "A fascinating question," Davies replied, leaning casually against the console. "One I'll answer, since you'll be our guests for a while." In the Geneva bunker, General Blackwood watched the holographic display with grim satisfaction. Protocol Omega was exceeding expectations. Within 3 hours, they'd secured 82% of the Kravage fleet. The rest were disabled or retreating. Message from Lieutenant Davies, Colonel Volkov reported. Admiral Kazid is secured. They're transferring him to the Antarctic Containment Facility. Excellent, Blackwood nodded. Data retrieval? We've downloaded their entire command network. Our AIs are analyzing it. Preliminary findings suggest the Kravage were acting on orders from the Galactic Security Council. Blackwood's expression darkened. So our suspicions were correct. This was sanctioned. It appears so. The data indicates we were classified as a destabilizing threat after their deep space probes detected our Lazarus test sites. Blackwood nodded thoughtfully. Not entirely irrational from their perspective. Misguided, but not irrational. What now, General? Volkov asked. We've repelled the invasion, but the galactic community will react when they learn what happened. They'll react all right, Blackwood said, a faint smile forming, but not how they expect. She activated the holographic display, connecting to Davies on the Kravage flagship. Lieutenant, initiate Phase 2. Let's send our message to the galaxy. In the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Security Council on Centauri Prime, representatives of the galaxy's 23 most powerful species debated the Kravage operation against Earth. The humans must be fully subdued, Delegate Hazel of the Furian Conclave insisted. Our probes detected quantum signatures of banned technologies. If they master those, they're an existential threat. This was premature, countered Delegate Olo of the Tentaran Republic. We had no evidence of hostile intent. The Kravage campaign was based on theoretical projections and pre-unification human behavior. The projections were clear, Hazel chittered. Left unchecked, humans would destabilize the galaxy within 50 years. Their psychological profiles suggest... His words were cut off as every screen and holographic display in the chamber activated simultaneously. A human female in a black uniform appeared, seated in what looked like a command center. "Greetings, esteemed delegates," she said. "I'm General Elena Blackwood of Earth. I apologize for interrupting, but since you're discussing us, it seemed only fair we join the conversation." "How is this possible?" Hazel demanded. "This chamber has the galaxy's most advanced security." "About that," Blackwood said conversationally. "Your systems are impressive, or would be if we hadn't designed the quantum protocols they're based on." Stunned silence fell. "Yes," Blackwood continued. "When humanity joined the galactic community, we shared technologies we'd developed centuries earlier, presenting them as new. You adopted them, standardized them, built your infrastructure around them, never questioning why we'd give away such valuable knowledge." "What is the meaning of this?" the Muran chairperson demanded, their gelatinous form pulsing with agitation. "The meaning is simple," Blackwood replied. "You authorized an unprovoked attack on my planet based on fears of what we might become. I'm here to tell you those fears were understated." She expanded the display, showing Kravage ships under human control, advanced weaponry unknown to the Council, and Admiral Kazid in a containment cell, looking distinctly unhappy. "The invasion fleet you sent is neutralized," Blackwood stated. "Admiral Kazid and his officers are our guests. We've accessed their command network and know this attack was Council-sanctioned." "This is outrageous," Hazel chittered. "The Kravage operation violated Article 7 of the Galactic Charter, prohibiting preemptive strikes without evidence of imminent threat." "We're familiar with the Charter," Blackwood cut in. "You assumed we took it at face value." Her expression hardened. "For 3 centuries, humanity has maintained a facade, pretending to be less advanced, less capable, less dangerous. We followed your rules, accepted your guidance, integrated peacefully. And how were we repaid? With betrayal and attempted genocide." She paused, letting the accusation sink in. The technologies you've seen, teleportation, neural interfaces, quantum manipulation, are a fraction of what we've developed. We hid them not to deceive, but to respect the galactic order, to be good neighbors. If that's true, the chairperson countered, you'd have disclosed these when joining the community. Would you have welcomed us? Blackwood asked, or deemed us too dangerous to exist? Your actions suggest the latter. She gestured, and the display showed Earth surrounded by a shimmering energy field. This barrier now protects our system, selectively permitting or denying entry. Consider it our new border security. You can't isolate yourselves, Hazel protested. The economic and diplomatic fallout will be minimal, Blackwood interrupted. We've been self-sufficient for centuries. Our reliance on galactic trade was another facade to appear integrated. The chamber erupted in protests. Blackwood raised a hand and, surprisingly, the delegates quieted. I'm not here to threaten, she said, her tone softening. Despite what you believe about humans, we don't seek conflict. We seek coexistence, on equal terms, not as subordinates or potential victims. She straightened. Effective immediately, Earth declares itself an independent system, no longer under council oversight. We'll defend our borders but have no ambitions beyond our system. We'll continue scientific and cultural exchange with species approaching in good faith. The captured Kravage personnel and ships will be returned after we've analyzed their data. And if we reject your terms, the chairperson asked. Blackwood's eyes hardened. Then we stop pretending to be civilized by your definition. The Kravage fleet we captured is en route to strategic locations in Council space, not to invade, but to demonstrate. The display shifted, showing Kravage ships orbiting Council homeworlds. We don't desire conquest, Blackwood emphasized, but if provoked, we'll respond with the full extent of our hidden capabilities. And trust me, you've only seen a glimpse. The chamber fell silent. You have 24 standard hours to recognize Earth's independence, Blackwood concluded. Use them wisely. The transmission ended, leaving the Council in chaos. Lieutenant Davies found General Blackwood in the Antarctic Facility's observation dome, gazing at the Aurora Australis painting the sky in vibrant greens and purples. Mission accomplished, General, Davies reported. The captured ships are in position. No resistance encountered. And our guest? Blackwood asked, eyes still on the stars. Admiral Kazid is ready for your interview. He's been cooperative, especially after seeing the Council chamber footage. Blackwood nodded. The transmission reached all 347 member worlds and independent systems. Responses vary, but most are shocked, followed by pragmatic recalculations. No immediate calls for military action. The Council's in emergency session, Davies added. Our intelligence suggests they're leaning toward accepting our terms. The demonstration was convincing. Davies joined her, following her gaze skyward. Was this always the plan? When we reached the stars, did we intend to reveal ourselves like this? Blackwood sighed. Protocol Omega was insurance, not a roadmap. We hoped we'd never need it, that we could gradually integrate our technologies without sparking fear. But I prepared for all outcomes. Her eyes betrayed a weariness Davies hadn't seen before. The universe isn't kind to defenseless species, Lieutenant. Humanity learned that through millennia of brutal history. We hoped the stars offered something better, and in many ways they did. But beneath the galactic community's civilized veneer, the same fears and power dynamics persist. Davies nodded. And now? Now we negotiate from strength, not perceived weakness. We establish new relations, carefully share beneficial advancements, and keep Protocol Omega active, but in the background. She gestured toward the door. Let's talk to our guest. Admiral Kazid will be key to what's next. Admiral Khazid paced his holding cell, more a secure guest suite than a prison, when Blackwood and Davies arrived. The force field at the entrance underscored its purpose. "Admiral," Blackwood greeted, "I trust you're comfortable." Khazid's mandibles clicked in a dry laugh. "Your hospitality is as surprising as your military prowess, General." Blackwood nodded to the guard who deactivated the force field. She and Davies entered, and it reactivated behind them. "Please, sit." Once seated, Blackwood got to the point. "Your mission failed. The Council's attempt to eliminate us has backfired. The question is, what now?" Khazid's compound eyes studied her. "You've made your stance clear to the Council. My fate depends on their response, I presume." "Not entirely," Blackwood replied. "You followed orders, acting within galactic security protocols. There's no personal animosity." "How generous," Khazid said, surprised. "This doesn't align with our profiles of humans." "Those profiles were based on our public facade," Blackwood explained. "Like all species, we're multifaceted." "Then why am I here if not for gloating or threats?" "I have a proposal," Blackwood said, activating a holographic star map of Earth and Cravage space. "Our species share similarities: adaptability, resilience, protectiveness. We've both unified after internal conflicts and value strategic thinking." "An alliance?" Khazid's mandibles clicked rapidly. "After we tried to conquer your world?" "A reset," Blackwood corrected. "The Council manipulated you into attacking us, driven by fear. That fear stemmed from misunderstanding our intentions." "And what are your intentions?" Khazid asked. "To survive, thrive, explore, and preserve our autonomy without threatening others," Blackwood said. "Not so different from yours, I suspect." Khazid's eyes fixed on the star map. "The Council won't accept a human-Cravage alliance. It would shift the power balance." "The balance has already shifted," Davies pointed out. "Our capabilities change the equation. The question is whether that leads to conflict or equilibrium." "You believe I can help achieve that?" Khazid asked. "I do," Blackwood nodded. "As the commander who attacked Earth, your voice carries weight. If you advocate cooperation, it opens a path forward. What would this cooperation involve?" "Initially, information exchange. Your analysts study our tech, ours study yours. Then diplomatic relations, cultural programs, perhaps joint scientific ventures." "Military cooperation," Khazid pressed. "That depends on mutual trust built over time," Blackwood said. "We're not forming a rival bloc. We want stability that benefits both our species and reassures others." Khazid's antennae twitched. "An intriguing proposal, but why trust you? How do I know there aren't more hidden capabilities?" Blackwood smiled faintly. "You don't, just as we don't know what the Cravage might be hiding. Trust is built on uncertainty, choosing to move forward despite unknowns." Khazid's carapace shifted colors, signaling deep thought. "I'll need to consult my government." "Of course," Blackwood agreed. "We'll arrange secure communications. But first, there's something you should see." She adjusted the display to show Earth's devastation: ruined cities, scarred landscapes, sprawling refugee camps. "This is our reality, Admiral. Millions dead, billions displaced, damage that will take decades to repair. I show you this not for guilt, but to underscore what's at stake. Another conflict would be worse, for both of us." Khazid's color darkened, a sign of solemnity. "I understand, General. I'll convey this to my government. War is sometimes necessary, but rarely desirable." "On that, we agree," Blackwood said, deactivating the display, "which gives me hope we can agree on more." 1 week later, atop the rebuilt UEDC headquarters in Geneva, construction drones buzzed, repairing the city with advanced technology humanity now used openly. Colonel Volkov joined Blackwood at the observation platform's railing, handing her coffee. "The council vote is complete," he reported. "Earth's independence is recognized, 18-5. "Better than expected," Blackwood nodded. "And the Kravage?" "Their high command approved preliminary talks next month. Admiral Kazid will lead their delegation." "Good. He's reasonable once you get past the mandible-clicking territorial displays." Volkov smiled. "He said something similar about your stubbornness." Blackwood laughed, a rare sound since the invasion. "Fair enough. Public opinion on Protocol Omega?" "Mixed," Volkov said. "Relief at surviving, pride in our capabilities, but anger over the secrecy and concern about the future." "All reasonable," Blackwood acknowledged. "We've lived a lie for centuries. It'll take time to process." "Some call for your resignation, arguing Protocol Omega breached democratic governance." "Also reasonable," Blackwood said. "Once the crisis is fully resolved, I'll step down. Military leadership suits conflict. Peace needs civilians." Below, Geneva was reviving. People filled the streets, shops reopened, children played in former combat zones. Humanity's resilience shone through. "What's next?" Volkov asked, gazing at the city. Blackwood sipped her coffee. "History suggests 3 paths. First, someone tests us despite our strength, fracturing the galaxy into alliances and sparking the conflict we want to avoid. Counterproductive, given what they've seen," Volkov noted. "Fear drives counterproductive choices," Blackwood shrugged. "I've allocated resources to maintain defenses for this reason. Second, the galaxy adapts. Earth becomes a respected, slightly feared power. Trade resumes equitably, cultural exchange deepens, and we share technologies to improve lives without destabilizing the balance. And the third? The most intriguing," Blackwood said. "Our revelation forces the galaxy to rethink its structure. If we hid capabilities, who else has? The current system, built on incomplete information and deception, isn't sustainable. You think others will reveal hidden tech? Some will. Others will develop new ones now that they know it's possible. The equilibrium's broken. Change is inevitable." Volkov frowned. "That sounds destabilizing." "Change always is," Blackwood agreed. "But the system that attacked us was flawed. What comes next might be better." A chime interrupted them. Volkov checked his comm. "Lieutenant Davies is here with the Kravage diplomatic team. They're in the conference room." Blackwood finished her coffee. "Time to work." The conference room fell silent as Blackwood entered with Volkov and 2 UEDC officials. Across the table sat Admiral Kazid, now in formal diplomatic regalia, with 3 Kravage representatives. "Admiral, or should I say Envoy Kazid?" Blackwood greeted, inclining her head. Kazid's mandibles clicked in a wry smile. "The promotion was unexpected. My failure has been reframed as an opportunity." "Failure often seeds progress," Blackwood offered. "Thank you for returning under different circumstances. My high command was persuaded by your arguments and your capabilities," Kazid acknowledged. "We are pragmatic. Adaptation is our strength." "Something we share," Blackwood said, taking her seat. "Shall we begin?" For 3 hours they drafted the Earth-Kravage Accord, a remarkable agreement forged by pragmatism and curiosity. During a refreshment break, Blackwood and Kazid stood by a viewport overlooking Lake Geneva. "Your world is beautiful," Kazid remarked. "I regret my first experience was through targeting systems." "We're resilient," Blackwood replied. "The damage will heal." "And your people?" "Healing varies," Blackwood said. "Physical rebuilding is underway. Psychological recovery will take longer. Trust, longer still. Trust is vital for what we're building, Khazid observed, which is why transparency matters moving forward, Blackwood agreed. Secrecy and facades led to conflict. We need a new approach. Khazid's antennae twitched. We have a concept, Klur. It means strength revealed enables peace. Fitting, don't you think? Blackwood nodded. Your government asked me to pose a question that may shape our future relations. Ask it. Project Lazarus, Protocol Omega. These were defensive measures. But with your capabilities, expansion could be tempting. What are your long-term intentions? Blackwood faced him directly. Humanity spent millennia expanding on Earth, often at great cost. We nearly destroyed ourselves. When we unified, we chose to aim outward, not for conquest, but for understanding. She gestured to the stars. Our goal isn't territory, Admiral. It's exploration, discovery. The universe is vast. Why conquer when there's so much to learn? Khazid studied her with all four eye stalks. A noble sentiment, but capabilities tend to find expression. They already have, Blackwood said. Our hidden technologies weren't built for conquest, but to transcend limitations of distance, understanding, even physical form. We've explored the universe in ways the galaxy hasn't imagined without leaving our system. Khazid's color shifted, indicating surprise. Dimensional exploration, consciousness transfer. Among other things, Blackwood confirmed. Research the community banned without fully understanding. The risks are manageable with proper protocols, as we've shown with teleportation. This is unexpected, Khazid admitted. Then let's build trust by showing, not telling, Blackwood suggested. Would your delegation like to tour one of our scientific facilities, not military, but research-focused? Let us show you what humanity's been pursuing. Khazid's carapace cycled through colors, settling on curiosity. I'll need to consult. Take your time, Blackwood nodded. 3 days later, Khazid stood in the observation chamber of the Prometheus complex beneath Olympus Mons on Mars, hidden from galactic scans by light-bending technology. This is unexpected, he admitted, watching human scientists interact with shimmering portals opening onto alien landscapes impossible for Mars. This is 5 centuries of research, Dr. Layla Kapoor, the facility's director, explained. These dimensional apertures connect to parallel realities coexisting with ours. The community banned such research after the Voltarian collapse, Khazid noted, his tone more curious than accusatory. The Voltarians tried creating dimensions, Kapoor corrected. We're accessing existing ones, a significant distinction. Lieutenant Davies, now Khazid's liaison, added, it's like finding a door to a house already built versus building one while standing inside. Khazid's antennae twitched as researchers returned through a portal, cataloging specimens. The purpose? Knowledge, Kapoor said. Understanding reality's nature, discovering principles for energy, medicine, and more. Not weapons, Khazid pressed. Kapoor's expression grew serious. Admiral, if we wanted weapons, we've had access to planet-destroying forces for centuries. We haven't used them because our goal isn't destruction. She gestured to the chamber. This is humanity's true ambition, to transcend limitations, to understand the universe's complexity. The military tech you faced protected this work, not defined it. And yet you hid it, Khazid observed. The community wasn't ready, Davies replied. Your reaction to our capabilities proved that. Kapoor nodded. Now, we can retreat into secrecy or try something bolder, sharing discoveries with species open to them, starting with the Kravage. Why us? Khazid asked. Your pragmatism and survival instincts, Blackwood said, entering the chamber. You've seen the dangers of blind galactic dogma. A diplomatic way of saying we attacked you based on flawed intelligence, Khazid noted dryly. Exactly, Blackwood smiled, which makes you ideal partners for what's next. And that is? A new paradigm, Blackwood replied. One where knowledge is shared, exploration trumps control, and diverse perspectives are assets, not threats. Khazid's color shifted thoughtfully. My government will want assurances, protocols, oversight. Of course, Blackwood nodded. We propose a collaborative framework respecting both our interests. And if the community objects? Blackwood's expression hardened. They'll need to rethink what their authority rests on. Fear and suppression aren't stable foundations. 6 months later, at Galactic Security Council headquarters on Centauri Prime, an emergency session dragged into its 14th hour. The chamber, usually orderly, had fractured into factions. The Earth Kravage Scientific Cooperative challenges council authority, Delegate Hezel insisted, his Furian conclave's influence waning since the Earth incident. Their open research undermines safety measures preserving galactic peace. Yet 7 member species have applied to join, the Tentaran representative countered. Shall we sanction a third of our membership? If necessary, Hazel chittered. The humans have corrupted the Kravage with forbidden knowledge, now seeking to corrupt others. The Moran chairperson's form pulsed wearily. Perhaps we should hear from those we're debating. The central platform activated, projecting Blackwood and Khazid. General Envoy, the chairperson acknowledged, your initiative raises concerns. So we've heard, Blackwood replied calmly, though discussing seems generous for this chamber's current state. You're accused of undermining council authority and violating safety protocols, the chairperson continued. Your response? Khazid spoke first. The cooperative violates no galactic charter provision. We've established independent research agreements, as is our sovereign right. The Council cannot prohibit them. The research defies community standards, Hazel interjected. Guidelines, not laws, Blackwood pointed out. Guidelines set without understanding the technologies they restrict. We offer a chance to revisit them with new data and careful protocols. You hid this data, Hazel accused. Yes, Blackwood admitted. We hid our capabilities because we predicted your reaction. Fear over curiosity, suppression over engagement. The chairperson's form rippled. This is unproductive. The council must decide whether to permit the cooperative or impose sanctions. Before you vote, Blackwood said formally, note that representatives from 14 species, 7 council members, 7 independent systems, are touring our Prometheus complex on Mars. What they're seeing will shape their positions, regardless of your decision. The chamber erupted. You invited council members without authorization, the chairperson demanded. They requested the opportunity, and we granted it, Khazid corrected. The cooperative operates on transparency and consent, principles this council might consider adopting. Alerts sounded as council members' devices activated with messages from their governments. Over the next minutes, chaos reigned. Species opposed to the cooperative received orders to soften their stances. Others faced recalls for more aligned representatives. This is manipulation, Hazel accused, even as his device chimed. This is adaptation, Khazid corrected. A skill every successful species must master. The chairperson, sensing the shifting political landscape, adjourned the session for 24 hours. As Blackwood and Khazid's projections faded, the chairperson lingered, their form undulating with concern and perhaps a spark of curiosity. 1 year later, at UEDC headquarters in Geneva, the observation platform hosted a reception for representatives from 28 species under Earth's moonlit sky. Captain Davies, newly promoted, joined Blackwood at the railing. Quite a turnout. The Zeloians just arrived, 4 former council leadership species now in the cooperative. And the Furians? Blackwood asked. Officially holding out, but they've sent 3 observer delegations this month. It's only a matter of time. Blackwood nodded, watching humans and aliens converse, their translators struggling with new technical terms. Did you ever think we'd get here when you activated Protocol Omega? Not exactly, Blackwood admitted. Survival was likely. Isolation was prepared for. This, she gestured to the gathering, was aspirational. The Civilian Oversight Committee asks about your plans now that the transition's complete, Davies said. They want to know if I'm stepping down, Blackwood smiled. They said, transitioning to an advisory role, Davies corrected diplomatically. Tell them yes, Blackwood said. The crisis is over. The cooperative has momentum, and I'm tired of being the face of humanity's deception. Not deception, came Khazid's chittering voice. Strategic revelation. They turned to find High Envoy Khazid, his carapace adorned with cooperative and Kravaj colors. Blackwood smiled. I appreciate the sentiment. The Muran chairperson's arrival is a significant gesture. Unthinkable a year ago, Davies noted. Much was unthinkable, Khazid agreed, including a human Kravaj alliance after an attempted conquest. History thrives on such ironies, Blackwood said. Crises can become opportunities if we embrace them. Dr. Kapoor approached with a multi-species scientific delegation. General, we're ready for the demonstration. The group moved to the platform's center, where Kapoor activated a device, opening a miniature dimensional aperture. This portable aperture generator, she explained to the dignitaries, is a collaborative achievement of 7 cooperative species, a new approach to discovery. As scientists dove into technical details, Blackwood stood with Davies and Khazid, slightly apart. You know what really grinds my gears about humans? Khazid clicked, echoing his flagship rant. Blackwood raised an eyebrow. What's that? They're utterly unpredictable, Khazid said, mandibles forming a Kravaj smile. Just when you think you understand them, they surprise you. That's not just humans, Davies said. It's intelligent life, always adapting, evolving. Perhaps, Khazid allowed, but humans excel at it. We've had practice, Blackwood said, gazing at the stars. Lots of practice. As the reception moved indoors, Blackwood lingered alone, watching Geneva's lights and the stars above. A year ago, those stars felt like barriers, locked behind galactic restrictions and humanity's deception. Now they symbolized possibilities, new alliances, frontiers, understandings. The door slid open, and Volkov joined her. The Muran chairperson requests you. They're discussing formalizing the council's relationship with the cooperative. I'll be there soon, Blackwood nodded. They say this is my last act as director before transitioning to civilian oversight. How does that feel? Blackwood looked at the rebuilt city, a metaphor for humanity's journey. It feels right. We hid our capabilities for centuries, then demonstrated them for a year. Now, we focus on possibilities. And Protocol Omega? Volkov asked quietly. Remains active, Blackwood said firmly. Trust is growing, but the universe is vast and unpredictable. We'll keep our insurance policy more transparently now. Volkov nodded. Ready to go in? Almost, Blackwood said, taking one last look skyward. You know, for all our technology, humanity's greatest strength isn't our weapons or science. What is it? Our ability to envision something better, Blackwood replied, and our relentless drive to make it real. She straightened her uniform one final time. Now I'm ready. They returned to the headquarters, leaving the platform glowing with Earth's lights and distant stars, symbols not of separation but of connection. possibility, and a future where collaboration replaced fear. It began with a defiant message: cease your attacks, or we cease pretending to be civilized. But it would continue with a profound one: collaborate, and we all become greater.